deadline, right? No matter how long you have to do it, it always comes down to the last 24 hours.
Mm-hmm. So procrastination. But it's fun. It's done, right?
It's done.
Done deal?
Ish.
We're building another town.
Yes.
So maybe you can expand to Avalon Park Daytona Beach.
Maybe. I like the beach.
So we're waiting for just a few more people here.
And then how have people found like the presentation is the best? Like standing up here?
Yeah, like right there's the sweet spot so everybody can see. So I'm recording here so there are jury members who can't see.
So maybe I'll
I'm
do this over here.
also going to screen share my screen with the presentation so they can see the screen a little bit better.
So like if I'm here, that's good.
That's perfect.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good, thank you.
Okay, I actually think we have everybody.
Oh,
So-
excellent.
Hi everybody, welcome back.
Whole world is here.
Hello, everybody.
Andres, are you going to still be able to connect with me for just shouldn't be more than a few minutes after?
Yeah, that would be great. Which tool shall we use then?
Do you just want to stay on here after everybody disconnects?
Hey, Andreas, we just bought Daytona, 3,075 acres of land, so the largest purchase, probably in history, definitely for Cypex, so more than 12 million square meters, that's, 5 times more than HIAC has land, so not bad.
Yeah, very big milestone.
And they're already saying over there, like the CEO of Florida Hospital, it's the talk of town, I think I'll do a press release, Stephanie.
Yes.
Maybe we should do kind of like an editorial, kind of like a letter to the publisher, Abel Duval, kind of like, maybe not today. Today just a press release that we closed, and we're the owner of, spell out the 3,000 acres, and then probably say already approved for 7,200.
Hey, Dion, I need 100 acres for ag.
No problem. I mean, let's say 100,000 an acre, so then
Wow,
including the
that's high.
report, so. Hey, after buying and selling, I'm always a big fan.
Nice.
I don't think it's actually a bad idea, kind of like, now it's, and it may not be, in that partially in that, but it may be in the Riverside or the Piscine or whatever, kind of like over there. No, I mean, let's have to, look, with so much acreage, we know the 2,500 units which we're doing with Horton, we know the downtown, but there's plenty of additional possibilities to actually broaden the whole asset base, so, no, I mean, let's definitely talk.
But for now, we will turn it over to our guest, Julie Kostick, and I'm going to hit record real quick.
Julie is recognized around the globe. In Singapore, in Michigan, no, not Michigan, in Indiana.
Hi, everyone.
Good morning.
Take it away.
Take it away. All right. First of all, thanks for giving me the opportunity to come in today. It's nice to see humans in person, and so everyone who's not here, hi to you too. So I'm here to talk about JK Creative in the running for the Avalon Innovation Awards. And figured I would start with me, since I'm the owner. Get to know me, and then I'll explain my company. So my career started off, I went to school, and I studied both graphic design and advertising. It's not just about making things look pretty, it's about understanding the business and strategy behind it too. So those fit together really well. And then my career started in a lot of advertising agencies. So I'm actually from the Baltimore, DC area, and worked in a lot of top agencies around that area. I also I explored in-house as well. So I worked for Under Armour for a while, and then Laureate Education, who has Walden University. If anyone's familiar, they're an online school. So after that, I had worked on a lot of big brands, a lot of big projects, had a lot of great management experience and that kind of thing. So I decided to launch JK Creative in 2016. So another thing to note, I do have some awards. I've been published before, and I also am really involved with the community. So in the Baltimore community, I was in a lot of professional networking groups, a lot of creative clubs. I've been a board member, and am trying to kind of get that same involvement here in the Orlando area as well. So just some of the things I've picked up over the years, graphic design, so that's everything from print design, web design, signage, food packaging, kind of all across the board. Also just leadership in design, so art direction, creative direction, managing others. I have experience with photo shoots, video shoots, a lot of production and technical skills, so it's not just important to make things look pretty, but actually know how the mechanicals work so that it will print appropriately, that kind of thing. Event planning, have been involved from everything from smaller, wedding type events up to large conferences and trade shows. So know a lot of the behind the scenes there. And then just a lot of, people relations, whether it's clients, vendors, bringing people together, getting the right people for the job. And then with running my own business, I've really expanded on how to schedule things, project management, budgeting, so kind of all around the good things that you need for a creative company. So these are some pieces just to give you a peek into my past before I started the company. So working with, I worked with 20th Century Fox at one agency where we developed these really cool kids activity sheets. Here's some signage for Weight Watchers. This up here, this is a investor booklet that was for a real estate group. Some advertising for jewelry company. At Under Armour, that was kind of a really cool dive into some different kind of creative. I worked on the retail marketing team. So actually would, start with blueprints of a store and figure out where are all the opportunities for creative development. Where can signage go, wall wrap, so a lot of kind of thinking more three-dimensionally, as well as, blasting out that marketing to advertise the brand house stores. So billboards, print work, that kind of thing. And then my last job was at Walden University. I chose to show this campaign because this was a really big milestone in my career. This was a national ad campaign. It was in quite a few markets to, a lot of educational brands. It's the student at the computer, oh, I'm learning. Me and my team, we really wanted to push this out into something, more attention grabbing. So, going with kind of more, an interesting color palette and, more contrast. It did really well with testing and such. And this was, everything from digital to print to signage. Funny side note actually about this billboard. When I moved down to Florida, I was driving down the road and saw one that looked exactly like this. Turns out a local lawyer around here decided to plagiarize my portfolio site. So I thought that was kind of funny.
So you sued him or what?
I'm sorry?
You sued him or what?
Because I worked for Walden, I had to get them involved.
Oh, okay.
But I was like, wow, someone likes my work so much that they're stealing it. But that was kind of funny. But not funny, anyway. So, and then just a little bit about me. My husband and I just moved to Florida last year. So just I feel like with my life, I don't want to just wait around and wish for things to happen. We like to make things, come to life. So, it's kind of risky to start your own business. When did that. We've always talked about, let's get out of DC, let's come to the Sunshine State. We love Disney and a lot of great things down here. So we made it happen. We moved down here last year, fell in love with Avalon Park. So
thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. We've loved it. So yeah, and then I love art. I love traveling. A lot of those things I like to, pair up together. Here's me visiting a museum in Paris. I love food. I love coffee and cheese plates. Those are my favorite. So I'm actually really excited for the marketplace. I can't wait to try all that.
Wonderful.
And then just also we really like to give back. So this is, my husband and I used to do pet rescue flights. So we'd love to, get involved with some new things down here. And then another big part of my personal life that I bring in to this presentation is I'm also a blogger. So my husband and I, we run a blog called the Disney Dinks, Dual Income No Kids. So where there's a lot of sites for mommy bloggers, we kind of wanted to take that adult approach, what's good dining, talk about traveling, and our life. So this has been really fun because it's also, I've been able to, I enjoy having creative outlets in my personal life in addition to professional. And then this has been great too, because just with, thousands of readers on the blog, 10,000 followers on Instagram, we have a small shop. It's a lot of stuff that, even though it's fun and on the side, it really does tie it all together. And I learn a lot from this that I can apply for, social media clients and stuff like that. So, about JK Creative. So, as I said, I was in Maryland. So this company formed in 2016. Since moving, I kind of scaled back things a little bit to for life changes, getting house sold, moved. It's kind of a big transition to come down here. But now I'm, fully set up in Orlando, licensed and registered, all that good stuff. So our main core that we offer is graphic design. That's like where my skills are rooted. So, across the board, all those things I mentioned. But also we also offer a full, agency type of experience. If you need web programming, copywriting, strategy, kind of full package. Like if you need something creative, come to us. If for some reason it's not exactly what we think we can do or a partner can do, we'll definitely try to help find where you can go. My biggest goal with this is to bring, I've worked on a lot of big brands, and I've looked around and said, there's a lot of small businesses and startups. You don't have to have all this money and be a big brand. Like I feel like everyone deserves high quality collateral and branding. So that's my goal, is to just, bring really good quality design to everybody. And just like in the ad agency world, I worked with a lot of different clients, and I continue to do that with JK Creative. Retail brands, food and beverage, real estate, education, and definitely some nonprofits too. So these are some of the logos of companies that we work with. University of Maryland, University College, it's education. We have some government contractors like Deloitte and Regulus Group, technology brands, Getz. I don't know if you're familiar with Cowtails Candy, but they're a candy distributor. Greystar Real Estate, and then like National Parks Conservation. So as you can see, it's a really nice mix. It keeps things interesting and keeps us growing, and it's really fun to develop different solutions for all these brands. So team members. So these are all folks that still work with me currently or have worked with me before. I have had interns over the years, and just as I know, I pay my interns. I think that's really important. So interns, freelance designers, I have freelance web programmers, copywriters. So basically how I've been working my team so far is kind of flexing depending on what the project schedule looks like. Bringing in folks and staying agile. And yeah, so basically, I have a lot of connections and we get the job done. So as I said before, we strive to really offer all sorts of creative solutions for folks. So everything from logos and branding, print collateral, so that could be brochure, direct mail, booklets, catalogs, that kind of thing. Website design, digital design, so that's, could be banner ads on the web. Packaging, so I've actually worked with a lot of food clients to do like labels and boxes for supplements, food, beauty products. Signage and environment, so that could be anything from a simple banner that a client needs all the way up to something similar to an Under Armour store where it's full-fledged graphics or vehicle wraps, that kind of thing. Social media, marketing strategy, and another good point I want to bring up is that I am a certified DBE business. I was in Maryland, and I just got that certification in Florida too. So that opens up to a lot of government-specific contracts. So, and then this is some of the work that has been done at JK Creative. So this over here, this was for National Parks Conservation. They were, trying to get the word out, lobbying for a bill that would help the parks. So, developed custom illustration and infographic to explain the issues, and that was carried out into a bunch of other collateral such as rally signs, conference signage, print work, social media graphics. This was a website for a company called Regulus Group. They're a government contractor, and they came to me and said, all these government sites look the same, very dry. Their main goal of this was to attract new talent. So, they wanted it to be youthful and fun. So, and just something really different that sets them out. So this was all, custom illustration animation. So that was really fun. So, Tasty Orchard is a brand they developed. It's kind of like a LaCroix water, but we worked on a lot of stuff for them. So this was an example of one of the packaging designs we did for their canned beverages. Greystar Real Estate. This was an interesting campaign. It was kind of similar to the Regulus, actually. They were targeting new employees, like a younger audience. So it was meshing the Greystar corporate brand, but also bringing in some kind of more youthful, fun aspects. So this was Greystar grads. So this is just the brochure, but it was a website, all sorts of things for their recruiting initiatives. This is some work for the Cleaning Authority. So they're a maid service across the country. They brought us in to come up with some ad campaign ideas. So we came up with a lot of ideas, and a couple of them they've run. This is an example of one that it works for direct mail, social media, but just kind of that fun, getting people to hire people to clean their house instead of doing it themselves. So, and everything we did for them actually A/B tested like way higher than what they were already sending out. So that always is nice when you get results like that. And then just a couple more. So this is the National Women's Studies Association. They have a conference that we work on every year. So that's a pretty big project with this big catalog book that's about 300 pages of content. There's a mobile app, there's trade show signage, kind of everything they need for that show. More food packaging here for a tea brand. This is a fitness studio in Hilton Head. We did like a merchandise line for them. Another website for a pool manufacturing company. And then the last thing I'll mention too is we do, I have a sub-brand called Everella. This is for, wedding invitations, kind of like event branding, I guess you would say. And the reason it kind of exists on its own is because JK Creative doesn't really speak to that audience. So we built this sub-brand so we can speak directly to brides and, party hosts. So my goal for JK Creative, I want to expand. Now that I'm here in Florida, I really want to hit the ground running. So I feel like this is a 3-step approach for me. I feel like marketing is a huge thing. I feel like up to this point, it's been a lot of word of mouth, repeat clients, referrals, that kind of thing. I haven't really dove into marketing. And I'm a marketing company, but I feel like sometimes your marketing comes to the bottom of the list when you're dealing with 20 other things. So with that, I think it's marketing and then bringing in support staff. I work with obviously freelancers and stuff like that, but getting more like more in-depth support staff, like a more regular person who's not just project-based. And then eventually growing into an office. That was something that I had always wanted to do and had looked into it in Baltimore. So it was funny when this Avalon place opened, I was like, oh, that's so perfect, because all the other ones I'd ever looked at in the past, they were just a little too far away. The parking was so expensive. It just never really made sense. But that's always been a goal of mine. So now we get into the money. So for that 3-step approach, I feel like the marketing is the biggest step for me. I think it's been this thing of, you need to have more work, and I've been steady and growing, or for these few years, but I feel like to take that next step, I feel like it really needs to just get the information out there so people can know who I am and then grow. So that is, priority number 1. And then after that, the secondary step would be staff. So as that influx of work comes in, having more people to help. So I think, it's kind of like whenever you grow, it's kind of one of those things where it's hard to juggle everything at the same time. But I think it would be marketing and then support staff. And then the tertiary funding, I know there were things mentioned in this award, such as, office space or business help, like CPA stuff. I think, anything like that would be awesome to help. But for me, I definitely know marketing is probably my number 1. So this kind of just breaks it down. I'll expand on the next slide of what the marketing funds are. And then just some options for staffing, like this is what it would look like for me to bring on to have, a regular intern versus a part-time, mid-level employee versus a full-time employee. So the main marketing plan, it's tough because I feel like my website, if it was just updating projects here and there, it would be something that would be regularly happening. But I'm at a point now where the website really just needs to be like completely redone. It needs like I need an SEO analyst, need to redo the look, really kind of redo everything because I think it's tough kind of explaining JK Creative as the business versus Julie Kostick, the freelance designer. So it's just this really big initiative that needs to get tackled, but it's tough to clear time and money to do that. And then another thing is social media. And to do social media properly, you really want to, have a plan and get all those assets going. So you have 6 months ready to go. You know what image, what content, what the theme is. So that I think is the big push that we need right now. The next step to marketing, I'm really big into networking. That's something that's been hurting me right now. Is just Baltimore was my town. I'd go to events. I knew everybody. Where Orlando, I'm a new fish in a new pond. So the beginning of this year was really promising, and I was ready to sign up for a bunch of stuff. But unfortunately, COVID hit, so everything's been virtual. So that's one of those things. I know I want to get out there and network, but that's as soon as things are out, as soon as people are in groups again. I feel like that's a huge thing. And then also subscription sites. So there's Upwork, FlexJobs, stuff like that, where I can, and even LinkedIn Pro, you can bid on jobs. But those all do have subscription fees. And then lastly would be ad buys to finally do a push for Google ads, Facebook ads, LinkedIn ads, that kind of thing. And then also playing around with possibly some local print marketing. And then here's the slide that kind of details how I came to all the costs for the marketing plan. So you'll see it's, the top is the website, SEO, social. And then these are all, membership fees and then media buys. And I guess a note to say is right now that's kind of just what everything costs. I think what would be the smartest plan is to try some of these things out and see if they're working. Because if there's a certain membership or a subscription that's not really pulling in business, why keep throwing money at that where that money could maybe go towards more Google ads? So kind of something that this is where I think it'll go, but this could kind of change as we could see what is the most beneficial. And then the plan for spending. So everything would be pretty front-loaded just because a lot of it is content creation. So the first month or so would be completely focusing on getting all the new assets ready. Website, SEO, social media. Start signing up for some memberships. That may be a little more delayed now just based on I don't want to start paying for a membership if I'm not going and getting anything out of it. Subscriptions, definitely, those can start. And then after that, certain things would continue, and then as soon as business starts kind of rolling in, I want to get set up with, a more concrete support staff. I think up until that point, I can keep using my project-based freelancers and such. And then just as this goes, as I said, kind of looking at what is working, what's not working. But some stuff will continue on to be like a monthly fee, such as some of these advertising costs, subscription fees, and then of course employees. So that's kind of what it looks like. And then of course employee will just depend on what level of employee I bring on. So I guess where I wanted to land lastly is, why choose JK Creative? I know there's a lot of awesome companies probably pitching and looking to grow. So I just wanted to highlight why I think I would be a really good pick. So number one, top-notch talent. I hope you can see through my work that, there's a really good quality skill level, award-winning work. I think that there's a lot of good creative design that I think this community really could deserve. There's new businesses opening and stuff like that. I think it'd be awesome to, be able to help them take their branding up to here. Passion and drive. Like I said, creativity is huge. It's professional life, my personal life. This is, something, starting a business is a big deal. I've loved it and, continuing to grow. It's not just like, oh, let's try something. Like this is like what I live for every day is, creating awesome stuff. And really driven. I've already proven myself from setting certain goals and making them happen. So, I think this would be a great opportunity to have that next goal that can just, drive me up to the next level. Proven track record. My business was started in 2016. I know they say a lot of businesses will fail after the first year or so. I've been, positive revenue every year. I've been very stable. I have I have one freelance client who's been with me, I think, a decade now. But many clients are still working with me to this day. So I feel like my reputation in Baltimore was really good, and I'm, here it's hard in Florida. I want that to grow here too. So, and I think the other good point is I feel like JK Creative may be lower risk than some other companies, just from the standpoint of it's not a brick and mortar store. I don't need inventory. I don't need a full staff. It's graphic design, since it's more virtual and stuff. I feel like that's, there's lower risk that comes with that. And also minimal setup. I'm already kind of going. I'm sure that there's some things that could be set up better. Like I'd love to talk to a business coach and see like what processes would work. But I feel like, I'm already working on stuff. I'm ready to hit the ground running. It's not like, oh, let's put this plan in place and open the business 6 months from now. So, and then lastly, community. I just wanted to circle back on that. Like I said, I love being part of the Baltimore community, Orlando and East Orlando. I'm excited to get out there and meet business owners, hire students from local schools, giving back to the community. I think that's what really sparked me about this whole award was that it's, it seems very community driven and bringing everybody together, which I thought was really awesome. And that is the end of my presentation. So,
Great. Thank you, Julie.
yeah, thank you.
We'll start with the panel online. Carol Ann, you're up first. Any questions?
Yes, thank you. Great presentation, very thorough. You obviously know your business well. You're very experienced. My one key question is, as you look at scaling and potentially hiring new team members, primarily to help with your own marketing, how are you defining who your target customers will be? You've served a wide range of different types of customers, but just as you look at scaling, how are you going to focus your marketing efforts?
I think so far, I think I've liked that wide breadth. I know there's some places that get very specific in a niche, and I only do trade shows for construction companies, for example. I have felt that the diversity in clients has been great.
It's a city. It's a city.
I know. What is going on?
Like Baltimore.
I'm at home. But I think honestly that's one of the things I really like to figure out with a business coach is what does make the most sense. Because just because I can help a lot of different people doesn't mean it makes the most sense. So, I think I'd like to figure out, like I know that certain ones, like nonprofits, I've been doing a lot with them. So I'm seeing trends. I know that for me personally, I like working with certain, like I like doing the food packaging. I like doing fitness and sports, and nonprofits, which is kind of an interesting mix. But yeah, I think that's something I would probably want to get a second opinion on, like from an outside perspective, to see what the best angle is to tackle that. Because yeah.
No, I appreciate that response because the competition's different in each vertical, the messaging is different in each vertical, the pain points are different, so it does dramatically affect how you craft a marketing strategy and campaign. So, all right, thank you, Julie.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Carolyn. Alan.
Yeah, great, thanks. So first a couple of comments and then I'll got a question or two. So first off, great presentation, great designs, great campaigns. I mean, really good examples that you gave throughout the presentation. The comment I have is on your certified DBE and the potential, I believe, to drive your business in the government space using that. and you're going to have some folks around you from the table that you have here and the people online to potentially do that. And then I also think that as a potential business in the 5th floor, you have a group of companies there that you could potentially market to as well. So I think those are all positives. My question is more about on the team and of the freelancers that you have, are they, I guess it's a question of availability. If we're going to, build your business and scale it up, are we always able to get the right folks from that freelance team? And is there maybe 1 or 2 of them that we target as rock stars that you want as your initial employees potentially on the team? That's one question. Then the second question, sorry to make this long, is do you see any equipment need type of things? I know you talked the marketing side, but like video equipment and things like that, just curious.
Yeah, so from a team perspective, what I had started to do with my intern program in Baltimore is that was a great way to see who was great young talent. So there was actually a designer I brought on full board as a junior level person, but then ended up scaling down so that could kind of move down here. So she's actually someone who still freelances for me. If she wanted to come back on board for me, she'd be my number 1 pick because we just have really good synergy together. And then I think as far as like my other team members, I feel like I go to them for different things. Like my programmers, I know who is, my web guy versus who's really good for just email blasts. Different folks have different past clients and past businesses they've worked on. Like, someone now who works for the U.S. Postal Service, where another one comes from agency life. I feel like a lot of the folks I work with are from agencies, which does give them that, I feel like they work really well kind of going between clients. But yeah, and there's still a pool of people I'm meeting all the time, and friends of friends. So I feel like depending on the project, so far I've always been able to find the right fit for who makes sense to come on board. Obviously for a full-time hire, that's a bigger commitment. I have someone in mind, but we'll see. I think I definitely want to start getting interns here too to start figuring out someone local. So and then I'm sorry, the second question. The equipment.
Second was on equipment.
Yep. So equipment. So for me, it's for like the actual design part. Yeah, it's like computers and printers, like nothing too crazy. As far as something like video and photo shoots, what I typically have done so far is actually team up with other folks. So the photographer already has their equipment. I'm more just managing the plan. So I think that's like the one thing I feel like I would have to grow a lot in other areas first before I get to the point where I would warrant needing my own like photo studio or video equipment, that kind of thing.
Okay, understood. We're going to have, as the 5th floor there, we hope to have a media room that you could potentially leverage. That's all I got. Thanks.
Thanks, Alan. Andreas.
Yes, thank you very much, Julie, for this very good presentation. I really like your work. It's very fresh and dynamic. I was working together in this at the 5th floor project in Switzerland a lot with a graphic designer, and I was a bit shocked by the costs that they charge over there in Switzerland. How much do you usually charge for a branding project, for example, like the one there with those soda cans, etc.?
Oh, with the soda cans. It's varied. I feel so. I have a standard hourly rate, but I feel like that's always tough to because you can meet other designers who are half my cost, but we may cost the same, or I may get something done faster. So really, how I've done it so far is every project's been custom. So I've worked for big corporate clients where their packages are bigger. I've flexed down stuff to smaller startups. So like the Tasty Orchard drink package, that was one that was actually done at a lower rate because that was also, it was a friend. I really believed in the brand. I got a lot of training in that. I got to go to like the taste testing for the drinks to see like the market research. So that was like, I was really excited about it. So I feel like it's kind of, I know I'm not answering your question, but like a case by case basis. So I've done projects that are, you know, $1,000. I've done projects that are, you know, $20,000. So that's another point to probably circle back of figuring out moving forward. Like, do I need to figure out a niche? But so far, I feel like I've really been excited to help so many people that I've taken on a lot of different things.
Okay. Yeah, but I think the product definitely has good potential in a town like Avalon Park with so many businesses that require a very professional branding at a affordable price, because I think that's sometimes a little bit the problem, that there are many people out there that offer graphic services, etc., but the quality might not be the best, or then either you pay a very high price for something that doesn't also look that out of the world. So I think it's good to have a good service at a decent price.
Yeah, and I'd say to touch on that point too, that's another great thing about support staff is, you know, I can have a junior designer who does a good job and I trust. They're not going to do the same level of work as me, but I'm managing them. So that's how I've kind of worked through that in the past. Is it's different. If I'm actually designing, the rate's going to be higher than, you know, is it something that a junior designer could work on with my expertise managing them. So that's another way I've kind of been able to flex my prices.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much, and keep up the great work.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yep.
I have to bring my son to an eye doctor's
Oh,
appointment,
yes,
you know.
yes.
So, no, I mean, I think you are, in my mind, you know, after 25 years, live, learn, work, and play in Avalon Park, the ideal candidate for us. I mean, to be on the 5th floor, to get our support in anything which you listed there, because, you know, I think you fit right in, you know. I mean, you fit in, and it's not just because you live here and work here. You're exactly at that stage where, you know, you're getting out of your house and starting an office, and that's kind of like when we, you know, start at the 5th floor, that's what we, you know, want to, you know, somebody like you, I mean, we're looking for, you know. So I have to say, I mean, I like the presentation. I mean, I think I like your experience as well. I mean, it's kind of like ideal. It's kind of like you went, you know, to the lodge, you know, Under Armour and, you know, all those things, but you have the experience as well with CBRE and, you know, Greystar. So I, in my opinion, great, you know, fit, you know. I mean, what we will do, I mean, we'll have presentations till the end of the week, and as well, we picked you out of 153 because we thought that, you know, there's only 30 of the 153, which we think they all, you know, will get an award, you know. And what's kind of like interesting, what we saw too, when we did this 20 years ago, I'm not sure if the world was more materialistic. Most people just came in and said, you need $1 million, 10 million, 100 million, $1 billion, you know. So those days, I mean, with all those presentations, we're seeing more and more, it's not so much the money. I mean, people understand, particularly with your business, yours is not capital intense. I mean, it's more relationship driven. I think you have to plug in here, and we are plugged in with the, you know, Central Florida business community, the I-4 corridor with all our projects from Tampa to Daytona, and I think it's a fantastic fit. I mean, I think what will happen too, I mean, if you plug you in, you will get as a next step international, you know. So I mean, it's, you know, obviously our headquarters in Switzerland and our outposts in Singapore and Australia. So I think I'm very pleased that you entered the competition, and B, I think we'll fine tune and figure out the ideal win-win for you and Avalon Park Group at large. You know, thank you for presenting.
Well, thank you, and I love that you say win-win, because I feel like I had felt the same way. Like I feel like everything about this, the 5th floor, and just, I don't know, it just felt like it was very serendipitous for me. Like, so.
And we need every client in the food hall, you know. That's good, you know.
And like, they're probably already
because,
figured out.
you realize this is kind of like, you know, will take a little bit of time. This will be a very unique building in East Orlando. It doesn't exist like this nowhere, you know. But, you know, what we always said, I mean, people like Avalon Park, but then we tell them too, you have to support it, you know, not just say, oh, it's really cute, I like it, and I live here, and then drive up to Waterford Lake. So,
Ironically.
Ironically, I have to do that too. Thank you.
Thank you there. So we do have a few. Marta on virtual. She'll show up here.
Hi, Julie. Thank you so much for participating on these Innovation Awards. I really like your presentation. I think it was very straight, simple, nice, and neat. And I agree with jury members. I think it's a great service to be added into the 5th floor, not only in the Avalon Park, but international level. So I'm looking forward to see where we could, reach into an agreement and see how you can, integrate those services, not only to the new entrepreneurs, but also to the Avalon Park family. And you cannot have a better person sitting right there in front of you is Stephanie. She's the Senior Vice President of Marketing, Community Relations, and Public Relations of Avalon Park for many years now. And I think you two ladies could do a good synergy. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Marta. Ravi, do you have any comments or questions?
Thanks, Stephanie. Hi, Julie. I don't have any questions, but I just wanted to say I had a look at your website and I'm very impressed. Outstanding work. So keep it up and hopefully look forward to working with you.
Well, thank you. It's nice to meet you as well.
Trey, did you have anything?
No, I think it's good. There's a lot of opportunities for you. I think your WBE certification is something you should think about trying to leverage, especially in the public sector.
Okay.
There's a lot of funding in things that have to go to women-owned and minority-owned businesses. And I think it's a segment, I'd be happy to help you with and talk about, but I mean, there's a lot of engineers and things that are doing work for the public sector that also need marketing and branding for transportation projects and different things that come out. And those kinds of things are generally pieces that they'll carve out and give to women business owners. And they can be 20,000, they can be 150,000, they can be, because 10% of that project generally has to go to those contractors. So anyways, that's another, there's public sector opportunities too, I think, for you with that certification.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like the certification is just the tip of the iceberg of opportunities.
So, jury, just so you know as well, Julie's was one of, well, in my opinion, was the most professional, creative, in-person presentation. She brought it to the office. It was very neatly packaged, very, very detail-oriented, and was very impressed with it by somebody who lives in this world. There were a lot of people, a lot of other marketing companies in Avalon Park who submitted their presentations, and like they had said, from 153 down to under 30. I was very impressed with your package. I have a couple of comments, and we can talk offline too, because I think there's so many opportunities for you already being an Avalon Park business, home-based business owner. We have opportunities to market to everybody in Avalon Park for free. So we have a website, we have our Avalon Park Sun newsletter, we have ways to reach 60,000 people via that newsletter, we have our social media component. There's groups online. I just noticed a couple of days ago, a women-based Avalon Park group
I just saw that pop up.
started. So there's a lot of, I would say, organic opportunities for you here. I'm happy to help connect you with those people. I would say based on I would like to talk to you about like your marketing plan and where you want to spend the money, because I think putting $100 towards Google or $50 towards Facebook a month is a waste of money for what you're trying to do, especially if you're not niched. I mean, that's maybe general branding, but you're going to get some big guys who have a lot bigger budget spend on those platforms. So I would say focus on your relationships. I mean, with Avalon Park alone, we have 90 businesses in just downtown Avalon Park.
That's just Orlando, So now, I mean, getting, I think we're still in Tampa, kind of like collecting all the, because we are here, I think we can meet the 5 communities which we're building now, it's still not 99% complete, the Daytona, we literally just closed this morning on the land. I mean, this will be a 20-year opportunity, and then just by the sheer size, I mean, this community will enlarge Daytona Beach by a third, so you can imagine what's going on there. And I mean, there is on every level. I mean, I think I'm always kind of like thinking, particularly when I see you, you need more people. You need the ability to delegate because I think I don't even know anybody who does an undertaking of this size in the I-4 corridor, building it down for, if you add it all together, 100,000 people. So I mean, Avalon East, Wesley Chapel,
and creating a consistent brand and story across all of those, especially with not only ours, but our tenants, our businesses, and the fifth floor in the marketplace, just from the packaging and marketplace. So I've I've got a million customers lined up in my brain right now for you, so we'll start there.
Yeah, I remember I was CFO, which we were working out for 10 years with. She first started, said she's not sure if you have enough work, you know, and now, I mean, it's kind of like, we will have tons of work, you know. The other thing is more, you know, commercialize it, you know, I mean, it may be Amon Park Group, obviously can pay you, little corner store, maybe not, and that's kind of like a concept which we have to have too, because one of the neat things is with us controlling downtown, owning downtown, we really want to see this downtown driving, and we know what it takes sometimes to cross-subsidize. I mean, think of IMCA, great tenant, because I think the YMCA brings a lot to downtown. It's not the guy who pays $30 a square foot because, you know, Jim sort of can't pay that. But I think it's a little bit the same when we're doing branding, etc. We have to take our smaller business partners with us. While they may not be able to pay the top dollars, but it mixes out, you know, at the end. And I mean, to see a small business, a small tenant succeeding helps us on a totally different level. So I don't know. It's,
and then my last comment to you, we're talking about pricing and scaling. Don't do
to
it.
to the eye doctor.
You have a
Very much.
value. You have
Thank
a
you so much.
huge value. Set your price, set it high, set it for what your value is, and keep it there and don't compromise. When you start compromising your price, then you start people start questioning value, and you know your value, and you're great, and there's people out there who will pay it.
Yeah.
You can keep internally in your mind if you want to help a nonprofit or somebody in part of a global package, but I would say do not compromise on that price. You're doing yourself a huge disservice because you have an amazing product,
Thank you.
and you should definitely set your price and keep it, and don't compromise, because there will be people there who will pay that price, and they're your customer. You just have to find out how to get them, and I think we can help with that connectivity to be able to do that.
Well, I love your thoughts on that too, because I feel like just, you know, describing, you know, mixing Google and stuff, I feel like that has just been on my brain because like I haven't tried it. I need to do something to start getting to that next step, but really organic relationships is how I've been running my business and how I prefer to. So
And then if you choose a niche, and then the Google and the Facebook targeted ads begin to make more sense.
Yeah. Like they make sense for like the wedding aspect of the business.
For sure.
But no, great points. Thank you so much.
And guys, I will talk all day about marketing, so we'll go ahead and end unless anybody has anything else. Okay. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.